Welcome to the Daily Habits Podcast. I'm Sukh Sapra, a DJ turned coach, and I'm bringing you daily actionable steps that you can take to create lasting change. Let me ask you something. How many times have you beaten yourself up for not following through on something you said you would do? It might be skipping the gym, it might be breaking your streak, or knowing exactly what you need to do, but just not doing it. And often when that happens, we tell ourselves, I just need to be disciplined, or I need to be stronger, or I need to push harder. But what if that's not true? What if the problem isn't your discipline at all? We live in a culture that's obsessed with discipline, hustle, and grinding. Society has sold us this idea that successful people just want it more than we do, or that we need to work harder, or we just need to push through. You probably internalize some of this, and what happens when you don't follow through, you start to think that you're the problem. Working on clients and also going through my own journey, I've noticed something different. Most of us don't lack discipline, we just lack energy. And today I want to talk about why that distinction changes everything. Here's what we've been taught. Discipline is the answer. Just commit now, just show up, and just keep going. And that works for a while. You can run on fumes for weeks, sometimes even months, and you can push through exhaustion. You can force yourself to the gym at 5 a.m. on 4 hours of sleep. You can even say yes to everything and somehow make it work until you can't. You see, society glorifies pushing harder, and we live in this hustle culture. We celebrate the grind and all-nighters, and we celebrate this mentality of I'll sleep when I'm dead, or rest is for the weak. And even until 5 years ago, I believed the same. I internalized this feeling that, you know what, if I rest, then I'm just showing weakness, and I wouldn't rest even on the days when my body really needed it. It was almost like a badge of honor for being exhausted and busy all the time. And if you're a high performer, then you're especially vulnerable of this because you're used to making things happen through sheer will. You've built success by outworking problems. Stopping just feels like losing, so you don't stop until you crash. And usually our families pay the price and our relationships suffer because even though you're present, you're really not there. And your health starts to decline. Things like sleep, stress, inflammation, all these things start to appear. And what happens? Joy starts to disappear. Everything becomes a task to optimize, and eventually discipline itself breaks down. I remember this happening to me in my life many years ago when I experienced my burnout. I was going back to back from one wedding to the next, to the next, to the next. And I wasn't just the DJ. I was the DJ as well as the hype man, the MC, the project manager, the driver. I literally did everything in my business, and I did that around the clock until it got to this. I remember this one specific day. I came back from a wedding and we got home. I think I got home maybe 3 a.m. that night. And the following day, I physically just could not get up. Like, I was exhausted down to the bone. And I had to call my team that day. I had to call one of the DJs from the team. And, I had to tell them that, look, you're going to have to step in today. I physically can't make it. And I had to excuse myself. Luckily, it wasn't a wedding. It was a pre-wedding event. But nevertheless, I physically couldn't show up because I was that exhausted. And then that day I actually booked myself in for a Thai massage. And then the following day I went and joined the David Lloyd's where I can just go and use their spa facilities because I was that exhausted now. When I look back, I shouldn't have let it get to that point, but I did. And what I realized then is that I didn't lack discipline. I was very disciplined. It was just that I was trying to use discipline to compensate for a system that was just draining me faster than I could recover. And usually when this happens, we think that we failed, but it's not that you failed at what you were doing. It's just the system that you had set up or the system that you were relying on is what failed you. So let me reframe this. Energy isn't about motivation. It's not about getting hyped up or feeling inspired. Energy is about our capacity to do something for a sustained period of time. It's your ability to be able to think clearly, to make good decisions, to regulate your emotions, and to show up for the people you care about, to execute on your habits. And when your capacity is full, discipline is easy. You make the right choices almost effortlessly. But when your capacity is drained, even the small things start to feel impossible. Now, what do I mean when I say capacity? And this is something that I actually touched on last week when I was talking about the 4 pillars of a successful life and we looked at health and wellness. And it comes down to physical capacity. Like, are you sleeping enough? Are you eating well? Are you moving your body enough? Or are you running on caffeine and poor sleep and stress? Then there is also your mental capacity. How many decisions are you making daily? How much focus are you demanding from yourself? Are you giving your brain any downtime? And then, of course, there's emotional capacity. What are you carrying? What kind of stress, conflicts, or unresolved tension? Are you managing other people's emotions on top of your own? And what are you suppressing versus processing? And this is what most people miss, is that habits don't fail because you're lazy. They fail because your capacity is too low to sustain them. Think about it. When life gets stressful, what's the first thing you lose? It's probably the gym. It's probably your meal prep. It's probably your morning routine. Not because you don't care about those things enough, but because you literally don't have the energy to execute it. Discipline decides direction, but energy decides your sustainability. You can have all the discipline in the world, but if you have no energy, you won't last. And that's not a character flaw, that's just physics. So if your energy directly correlates to your capacity to be able to do things, then the question is, where is your energy leaking? I'm not going to give you hacks right now. I just want you to see where the drain is happening, because most of us are so used to running on empty, we don't even notice anymore. These are some of the common leaks. Sleep inconsistency, not just how much you sleep, but the chaos of your sleep schedule. Going to bed at different times, waking up to alarms, and never fully recovering. Sleep debt compounds over time. Constant stimulation, your phone, notifications, the news or social media, your emails, your brain never gets a break. It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. No psychological switch off, and this one's a big one in today's world. Even when you're off, you're not really off. You're thinking about work, or you're planning the next day, or you're replaying conversations in your head, worrying about what you forgot to do. Your mind's always running, overcommitting, saying yes to everything, whether it's meetings or favors or projects or social obligations. Every commitment is a withdrawal from your energy account. And most of us are usually overdrawn. Emotional labor, managing other people's emotions, holding space for everyone else, being the steady one or being the reliable one, being the strong one all the time. That takes energy too, and it's usually invisible. I love this one, which is decision fatigue. What to eat, what to wear, what to prioritize, or what to say yes or no to. By the time you get to your habits, you've already made 100 decisions, and guess what? Now you don't have the capacity to make one more good choice. If you're recognizing this in yourself, it just means that you're running a system that's unsustainable, and no amount of discipline is going to fix an energy problem. So what do we do with this? First, give yourself permission to acknowledge that you're tired, that you've been running on fumes, that it's okay to not have it all together right now. Secondly, understand that you can't discipline your way out of an energy deficit. You have to restore capacity first. So this is what I'll offer you. First, protect your energy like you protect your time. Start saying no, not to everything, but to the things that drain you without giving you back. Also, you want to guard your sleep, guard your downtime, and guard your peace. Treat energy as a finite resource, because it is. Second one is lower your standards temporarily. And yes, I say this with caution, but if you're consistently exhausted, then your goal shouldn't be to crush it. Your goal is just to maintain right now. Your goal is to just do the minimum viable version of your habits. 10 minutes instead of an hour, or a walk instead of a workout. Showing up at 60% instead of skipping entirely because you can't do 100 right now. Next is to build margin into your life. Stop living at your capacity. Stop scheduling back to back. Leave space, leave some buffer time, leave some breathing room for yourself. Margin is where recovery happens. And I think about this often because when I've consistently jam-packed my schedule, it leaves me very little downtime for creative work, and leaves me very little downtime to actually think about what I want to do or what I want to work on, because my time is consistently filled with something else. I've allowed either a meeting or an event or a social engagement or something or other to fill up my time. Whereas if I leave some gap in my time, I know that I can use that time to think and maybe do some creative work. But that's not going to happen if my time is consistently filled up. Remember, your discipline decides your direction, but your energy decides your sustainability. And here's the good news. Consistency returns when your energy returns. You don't need to force it. You just need to refuel. So if you've been beating yourself up for not being consistent, just stop. You're not failing. You're just running on empty right now. And the answer isn't to push harder. The answer is to rest, is to recover, and to rebuild your capacity. Before I wrap up, I want you to sit with a few questions. And you don't have to answer them out loud, but just let them sit with you. Where is your energy being drained right now? Not just the obvious stuff, but also the hidden stuff, the emotional labor, or the overcommitment, or the lack of boundaries. What are you expecting discipline to compensate for? Are you trying to force yourself to show up even when your tank is empty? Are you pushing through exhaustion and wondering why you keep breaking? What would change if you protected your energy first? Not as a luxury, but as a necessity. What would shift if you treated rest, recovery, and margin as a non-negotiable? This week, I want you to try one thing. Notice where your energy goes. Don't try to fix it yet. Don't add a new habit. Just pay attention. Where do you feel drained? Where do you feel restored? What's taken more than it's giving? Just notice, because once you see it, you can start to change it. If this resonated with you, then share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want more episodes like this, then subscribe so you don't miss the next week's episode. Thanks for being here, and I'll see you next week.